Ils sont ceux-là qui ont eu le premier là. Bon, récemment reçu une personne dans mon eBay. Je sais pas si elle est là. What is happening here? Claudette is here.
Good evening, sir.
How are you doing?
No, I'm okay. It's
Yeah.
okay, sir. We can continue. It's okay.
Okay. Elle est là. Y a-t-il des questions avant que je continue?
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Mhm.
Sir, please, I wanted to ask the last time you said that in each lap you can only try 5 times. After the 5 times, what are the consequences?
You will not be able again to do that. That means that
Okay,
you will not be able to complete the module.
okay. And when you don't come, that means there's no way they cannot give you any chance again. There's nothing. There's no.
Apart if you we go to Google Cloud support and then they reset then the number of count to zero. That's
Okay,
it.
sir.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Merci des questions. Okay. Today we'll continue with PowerPoint. Last time we ended up in instance group. Now today we now combine that with load balancing. That means that uh, we need our instance template to create the instance group. That's also the backend. And now connect it now with load balancing. And load balancing we also use the Elastic IP address. That means that let me grab the Epic pen. This is what we want to do today. Anyway, let me go on Google and search for a picture. Uh, load balancer. What's happening in the network? Are you listening me well?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. So this is what we achieved today. Mm, 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 mm. The network slow. Network today seems annoying. Okay, so this will be our load balancer, and this will be our managed instance group. And this is the client, that means us. That means that today we will explain load balancer use case. We have already done the backend. That means that for us to deploy a number of inits of identical instance, we need to fill an instance template before deploying a group of instance that's identical. The only difference with this instance is their name, but the characteristics of this instance, they are all the same. Okay, because they are all built from a same template. They call it managed instance group. But now, the managed instance group now all serve the same application. Okay, they all have the same application. Now, how now can users now reach now to this application, or what's the use case of having many servers in the backend to serve a single application? Now, we are having in front a load balancer in which we will use an elastic IP address. Sorry, that one is AWS. As we use a static, in Google Cloud is static. Unless we create a static IP address, that means that an app carrier doesn't change, right? A static IP. Okay, and attach the load balancer for external users to reach out through it. That means that instead of having multiple IP address for each server, we will create a single one, okay, and attach the load balancer, which is connected to the backend. Now, based now on the number of requests, the load balancer will redirect the traffic equally to this instance. Load balancer signifie équilibre de charge. Dans son rôle, c'est de se rassurer que les serveurs qui sont dans le backend ne sont pas surchargés. De se rassurer que chacun a le même type de charge de travail. The same workload. That's the load balancer. Okay? So he is directing requests equally on his backend servers that is managing. That means that while doing the lab, we will create a load balancer. We first create an elastic IP address, then define a firewall rule, then create an instance template for us to deploy the managed instance group, then connect in now to the load balancer. And you will see now, we will have access to application through through the static IP address. Any question?
Uh, Good evening, sir.
Then,
Yes, please, can you explain again, please?
ok. Oh, je pense que ça, c'est la conférence qui aura lieu en amphi. Ok. Étudiant étant sur l'étudiant n'est pour dans... Ok. Great. For that picture. Let me erase again. Am I recording? Oh, yeah. Great. I was saying that before reaching to load balancer, we have already dealt with the backend. I mean, that was 2 weeks ago, where our role was to deploy a group of analytical servers. Okay? Great. Now, but for us to deploy this type of features, we need first to create an instance template. Okay? Because if you want to make sure that all the backend servers are having the same characteristics, they need to use a template. That means that the managed instance holder that is doing that is deploying that is using a template to deploy those identical servers. The only difference on these servers is their name, but their characteristics are all the same. So they are having all the same applications. Now, now that you have done your managed instance group, how now can users reach now our application that is the backend? We cannot have different IP address for each servers. No, that means that users will use different IP address to reach the same application. It's like having the same domain. I mean, it's like having different domain name like Facebook 1, Facebook 2, Facebook 3, 4, 5, 6. No. So to make sure that this instance work as one because they are all having the same application, we use something called a load balancer. On this load balancer, we attach to it an elastic or a static, and elastic is for AWS, a static IP address. That means that we create a static IP address and attach the load balancer. Load balancer, what's the role of load balancer? Its role is to make sure to handle traffic and share them equally on its backend servers. That means that load balancer is connected to the backend servers and all traffic pass through load balancer because he's having a single IP address attached to it. That means that our users will be communicated a single IP address for them to access our application in the backend. And the load balancer will make sure to redirect the requests equally on all the backend. That means that it will make sure that a server doesn't handle all the workload. So its role is to make sure that all the servers are having equal workload. Okay? Very good.
Pardon, prof, encore, le rôle de l'adresse statique là, je n'arrive pas à bien comprendre son rôle. Adresse IP statique.
Bon, c'est d'abord quoi pour toi, c'est pratique parce qu'on a à voir ça. Ça sert à quoi? Ouais, ça change pas, même ça s'applique, c'est même partout. Ça sert à quoi d'abord avec les statistiques? Hmm?
Quand la dernière fois on a vu cela, c'était pour que lorsqu'on lance la machine virtuelle, que cette adresse ne disparaisse plus comme ça disparaît souvent, quoi.
Mhm. Oui, c'est vrai, mais quel était le problème qu'on a résolu derrière ça? C'est comme si j'écris une application et que à chaque fois que mon serveur redémarre, par exemple, ça signifie que je dois communiquer à mes clients différentes adresses IP auxquelles ils vont rejoindre l'application qui n'est pas bon. D'avoir un truc statique te permet que même si c'est comment, même si le serveur tombe en panne, le domaine name du truc ne va pas changer. Puis c'est statique, c'est un peu comme GFN Cloud Academy. Si le backend, par exemple, de ça tombe en panne, si c'est éphémère, c'est que je vais devoir changer, en fait, adresse IP qui gère le domaine-ci. Fait qu'à chaque problème que j'aurai, par exemple, si mon serveur a un problème, ça va changer. Alors qu'avec statique, même si le backend a un problème, le domaine name ne change pas. OK? Ça, son rôle. C'est pour que les clients ont une seule adresse auquel ils vont joindre, donc ils vont joindre dans l'application. Au lieu d'avoir plusieurs adresses, c'est-à-dire éphémères. Chaque fois qu'on va démarrer le serveur, l'adresse aussi va changer aussi. Donc il va falloir communiquer encore des nouvelles adresses aux clients, qui n'est pas bon.
Ok, merci.
Merci la question. Any question? Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Bien. Et si on implémentait maintenant ça, je vais lancer un lab. Pas de 1 heure. Je pense que 1 heure est suffisant. Je pense bien. J'essaie de voir s'il y a autre chose ici. Ok, bon, je vais lancer ici. Attends, est-ce qu'on a le code qui a ça? Sorry. Bon, apparemment, j'ai utilisé ça 5 fois. Donc, je vais devoir changer. Je pense que bientôt, on aura un compte Google Cloud. Parce qu'il faut un compte qui n'a pas de limite. Par exemple, là-bas, qu'on va faire, comment on dit, les projets, quoi, qu'on va travailler. Ce n'est pas sur Cloudbooski. Donc là, ça va être prêt, on va faire une séance auquel je vais vous mettre à l'intérieur. Je pense que ça sera en janvier. C'est-à-dire après les fêtes. Il n'y a pas qu'on puisse mieux se concentrer. Bien. Qu'est-ce qu'il nous faut? Il nous faut d'abord notre backend. Alors, pour créer en fait, un backend server, il nous faut d'abord un instance template. Alors, je vais venir sur Compute Engine. puis, je sais pas, instance template. C'est toi ici. OK. Create instance template. Là, le but ici, c'est pouvoir créer un groupe de serveurs identiques. Je suis pas en train de créer un serveur. Je suis en train de créer un template pour pouvoir déployer un groupe de serveurs à partir de ce template. Parce que les prérequis pour déployer un groupe de serveurs identiques, il faut un template que le manager instance group va utiliser comme référence pour pouvoir déployer ces serveurs-là. Donc, je vais appeler ça my, my template. OK? Comme c'est regional, ça signifie que tout ce que je vais faire doit être dans US is 4. OK? Si mon load balancer est ailleurs, ça serait impossible pour moi de me connecter avec le backend. Comme c'est dans la région de US is 4, ça veut dire que tout ce que je vais faire actuellement, s'il doit être dans la région de US is 4, si c'est ailleurs, il serait impossible pour moi de voir mes configurations, même si c'est dans le même projet. Même projet, mais déployé ça dans différentes régions. Donc, ça serait impossible pour moi de les connecter. OK? Donc, US is 4, on retient cela. Je laisse le reste par défaut. Je vais venir rapidement mettre un truc quand même. C'est-à-dire un petit code. Je pense que c'est hashtag bin, bin bash. Que là, ça affiche un truc quand même. Sudo app update. So why? Sudo app install. Why? Apache 2. Bon. Je pense qu'on peut même faire mieux que de déployer tout le temps Apache 2. Disons install docker, sudo app install docker.io. OK? Yes. Maintenant, j'ai une image en Docker Hub là qui est déjà prêt. Si je passe sur mon compte, je ramène ça ici. Docker Hub. Sans déployer un truc qu'on va voir sur le browser. Bon, OK. Sign in. Et par exemple, Binance. Donc, je viens ici, 2.0. OK. Là, je vais qu'on déploie un truc qu'on va voir sur le browser. Donc, je vais copier l'image ici. On n'a pas encore vu ça ensemble, comment envoyer son image à Docker Hub. On va le voir comment avancer. Donc, je copie ceci. Je reviens. Je reviens là. Docker est installé. Je fais maintenant sudo docker run -itd -p, c'est-à-dire, je vais le mettre une fois le port 80 du conteneur et le port 80 du serveur. Et -p, et je paste le nom de l'image qui est Chrysalan Inance 2.0. OK? Qui n'arrive pas à se retrouver ici. Ça c'est un truc qu'on a à voir ensemble lors de la remise à niveau. Qui ne commande pas la commande. C'est bon? We good?
Yes, sir, you can.
OK. Donc, sudo docker run -itd, le port number.
Coach,
Mhm.
what you're doing now is just the same like we did in the other.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't know
it.
how to, bring in an image into it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Great. Okay, so we are good. So I will just now create not the server, but I will create the instance template. There should be no space, my template. In the region of ES4. Okay, so create. Actually, I'm creating an instance template and not a server. This is not a server, it's an instance template. Good. So now workness. Now that I'm having now my instance template, I can now create now a server. I manage instance group easily. Oh, what's this? Sorry guys, something is coming up on my screen like, okay, good. Now you have our instance template. I can now create now our manage instance group because we need a template to generate a group of identical instance. So I'll come here on manage instance group. Where's my guy? Instance group. Create instance group. Let's call it enhance. That's our application name. The template, that was my template. Deploy in the region of ES is 4. Good. Okay. Should leave in ES is 4. I will deploy, let's say I want to deploy 3 instance out of 10. That means I'm remaining 7 more instance. The CPU, 6%, we good. Auto heal, let me create my health check. Health check, I'll call it, call it safe. Yeah. Our application is listening on port 80. The threshold, the check interval, I'll put there 60. Time out 60. We discussed about it last time. The same here, 60. Must be one unhealthy threshold. Let's say after 5. Same here, 5. Safe. Okay. Now, let me create. Good. Our instance has created. I refresh here. Okay. I come back to VM instance. I should create 3 instance. For now, you're having 2 different IP address, right? But they are all having the same application. That means that it's like I'm deploying WhatsApp 3 times, but having 3 different addresses to share WhatsApp. That's not really good. Okay? So for them to work as a single application, we need to put something in front of it called the load balancer. Okay? We need to put the load balancer. And for us to put the load balancer, we need first to reserve an static IP address that the load balancer will use, as you explained in the picture, just few time ago. Great. So if I click here, for example, I forget that we are having issue seeing our application in incognito mode. Let me come back here and try it here. I should remove the S. That means that we didn't with the script didn't work. So I'll need to kill that. The script didn't work. Yeah, the script didn't work. Let me check. Okay, the script didn't work. So I need to come back to my instance group and kill it. Delete. Okay, so what I will do is that I will create an instance and create a custom image from it. Then use it in my instance template. So I'll rapidly deploy an instance here. Advanced configuration. Seems like this guy not allow me to create an instance or what? Oh, Google Cloud, they have changed. It's now like AWS. Machine configuration, I'm good here. OS and storage. Okay, I'm good. Networking, allow HTTP, and create is all other one. I want to create a custom image because we're having issue the script doesn't work. That's why we're not able to view our application. Okay, I'm connecting.
So, please I have a question.
Yeah.
Please, Can you just take it back a little bit? Can you take it back a little bit? Because I had this problem too. When I launched the SSH, I clicked it and I could not view my application. You were so fast. Please, can you take it back a little bit?
You which application?
In the other lab, we had to launch, like, we had to connect on SSH. That I had a
Yeah.
problem there.
You need just
Yeah, I had a problem
click
there.
your SSH and then that's it. I just click your SSH.
When I clicked, they told me that it wasn't working.
I don't know what the issue. The normal issue you should click, it should open directly.
Okay.
Sudo app update. What was the lab?
I think that was on a Hello Run. But it's okay, I'll sort it out. I'll just follow the recording later on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sudo app install docker.io. I'm installing Docker actually. But what was the script issue? I need again to go back to Docker Hub. Great. Now I need now to on my command sudo docker run -itd -p at then paste. Oh yeah. Understand. This will not work. Uh I create a custom image, it will not work. It will only work if only if we start the container when the server is launched. Because what? When I will create a custom image, it will stop my container and I'll not be able again to access our application. That means that while creating a template, I need to put on my template a command that will enable me to launch the container while the container is running. This is our application. This is what I want to see on the browser. But because I put inside the container, that will be an issue. So this is what I will do. I will type sudo docker ps, for example. The name is Eloken shared. Okay, I will stop it. Sudo docker stop to deploy with a good name. Okay, sudo docker run port 80 up hyphen name minjek. Okay, I put the name minjek. Sudo docker ps. Okay, you're having minjek that's up. Great. I can now create my custom image. So I'll need first to stop the instance. Good, the instance is stopped. So I'll come here now on image to create a custom image. create image. Let me call it enhance. The source is our instance. I'll put it more to regional. So because I'll deploy on US is 4. So create. Now that means that while creating the image and while putting in my instance template, I need to make sure that I put the command to start the container when the server is actually creating. Because when you stop a container, all the application also inside is stopped. But when you launch a container, the application deployed with Docker will only start if you run Docker start. Okay? If you don't run Docker start, our application will be unable to be accessed through the browser. So I'll make sure that you put a command, a sudo docker start command with the name iminject, that's our container name. That means that while creating the server, my script will make sure to run and start the container before the server is up and ready. Okay? This is only understanding. It has nothing to do with knowledge or I don't know kind of guys, kill a genie. No. It's just a matter of understanding. You understand what you are doing, you can rapidly link the issue. Okay? Understanding and also practice. That's it. So you're having an issue like we're not able to view our application. So we use Docker. But while deploying Docker, because we all know that when you're creating, when deploying a container, if the server stop, all application deploying with Docker container will also stop. So that means that when we also create the instance template, the instance template will not start the container for us. We need to make sure that while the server is creating, we need to make sure also that the container also start. And we can only do it through automation, that the start script, which is a script that is execute while deploying a server and only put the server ready, that's the green button, ready, when all the command mentioned in the script is run and deployed on the server before the server status change to ready. Okay? Good. So I'll come back again to our instance template. I will just modify the existing one. I'll not create a new one. Just modify it. Come here, action. Oh, I cannot modify it. How? Let me create similar. No, don't want to create similar. Anyway, I'll create a new one. Cannot modify it. Create instance template. Call this guy enhance. ES is for. Then I will change the OS. Boot disk. As use custom. Enhance. Select. Now down here, I need to on management automation. That will be hashtag bin bash sudo docker start minject. And that is it. Then create. Good. We good guy. Are you lost? C'est bon?
No, no, it's not good.
Please take it over again, I beg. You are fast.
I should take whatever. I'll just create a template. I should create whatever.
Okay, you created it.
Mm-hmm. We are still on the back end. For us to deploy, no, you guys know already this step because we see that already. This step we see already this step. That is, we have already created the managed instance group. We know that the prerequisite for us to create that is to use an instance template. We did that. Now what I'm doing is what I'm just trying now to connect what we have already did. Okay, using our previous weeks like elastic IP address, config, custom image, manage instance group. Now today now connect it now through the load balancer. That is it. All was new here today with only the load balancer, but IP address was done. Manage instance group was done. Custom image was done. Shadow script was done. There is nothing new today. Even Docker, those command was already done with you. Nothing is new today. What is only new today is load balancer. And we're not yet in load balancer. We are still on manage instance group. That means we are still trying to deploy our backend application. Any question? Je disais que pour l'instant, rien ne ce qu'on fait est nouveau. Parce que la semaine passée, on a eu à voir comment créer un custom image, comment créer une liste IP statique, comment créer un groupe d'instances identiques. Tout ce qui est nouveau aujourd'hui, c'est load balancer qui va être comme le point de repère pour connecter ces différentes solutions, différentes ressources là, caractéristiques de Compute Engine, pouvoir communiquer entre eux. Donc, le balancer, ça serait comme un point de rencontre de tous ces différents services qui est mentionné. Mais pour le moment, on a vu comment déployer un managed instance group, que tout ce qu'il nous faut comme prérequis, un instance template, c'est ce qu'on a créé. Maintenant, je peux maintenant passer dans le manage instance group pour créer maintenant mon groupe de serveurs à partir du template. C'est Inance. Je vais laisser US is 4. Je vais déployer 3 sur 10. The rest by default. Then tu crées tes rel check. I'll use the one I created last time, that's safe. Then create. Okay, still creating. Okay, here was three. So I'll come back here on VM instance. That's Inance. I click here. I need to copy the IP address. You see, Inance. We're able to access Inance. That means our script work. Okay, but we are having 3 different IP addresses for the same application, and that's not good. So, work next. We need first to go and create a static IP address that will be used by a load balancer for us now to reach now our application or backend services through a single IP address. Donc maintenant, on va partir maintenant réserver maintenant une adresse IP statique externe pour pouvoir le rattacher au load balancer. Pour que si on veut rejoindre ce groupe de serveurs, si on passe par un seul adresse IP, on ne passe pas trois. OK? Pareil, les trois, si on a la même application qui n'est pas bon. Donc, qu'est-ce que je fais? Je m'en vais sur, donc là, c'est VPC Network, VPC Network, IP address, OK? Open a new tab. Bien. Reserve, instance IP address. Je vais l'appeler aussi. Nance. Je laisse ici, attache to ou non. On laisse mal le réserver. Reserve. Bien. OK. C'est prêt. Maintenant, qu'est-ce qui nous manque? On a notre backend service. On a notre adresse IP statique. Maintenant, il faut ce qu'on appelle le load balancer. Donc, je viens maintenant sur ici. C'est géré par une nouvelle ressource appelée, pense Network Services. OK, je m'avais sur View All Product, bah, c'est pas tout. View All Product. Je cherche Networking. OK, Network Services. Je clique sur ça. Bien, load balancing. I create now load balancing. Good. Now, what's the difference between application load balancer and network load balancer? Je pense que vous avez fait un peu le réseau avec mon gars là. Quelqu'un a une idée? Any idea?
Application, je peux essayer. Application Load Balancer gère les entrées et sorties externes du réseau, et tandis que Network Load Balancer gère les connexions entre les différentes instances.
Exactement. Ça signifie que, à travers ce qu'il a dit, notre choix ici, c'est network load balancer et non application load balancer. That will be our
So
choice.
please have not understood the difference between the two.
Good. Je vois que vous avez vu le modèle, le modèle OSI avec l'autre coach, Rodrigue. Vous avez vu ça
Oui,
avec
monsieur.
lui? Oui, modèle
Oui,
OSI.
monsieur. Tous les
Maintenant,
7 couches. All the
ok,
7 layers, yeah.
voilà. Et layer 7 is what the application layer of the OSI model. That means that this layer focus on content as well balancing based on requests. What I mean by that? That means that what this type of load balancer is basically used for application that having microservices. It's like you're accessing a web application with multiple services, like an e-commerce, where you have the shop, the cart, and IP address. And each services route a route is created to reach each services. For example, I'm on Google Cloud. This is the link for me to reach this page. Okay? And this link is permanent. That means that while I deploy my application, I'm defining different routes to reach my what my applications my application services. Wait, this is even a good example. Let me go to GFN. For example, GFN Car Academy. This is about us, for example. Okay? For now, it's empty. But if I share you this, you'll be able to see the same page because it's having a unique URL. If I share this here on the chat, everyone will be able to view this page. Even that person somewhere in Europe, Canada, they will all view this page because that link doesn't change. That means that when now creating my application load balancer, I need to define now each link like this to reach my application services. But for us, we don't have application having microservice, even though it's having a Roman about pace. Okay, but they are all deployed on a single architecture. They call it monolithic architecture. Okay, they are all deployed using a single architecture. They are not microservice-based application. And network load balancer is what the transport layer, that is layer 4 of the OSI model. Okay, that means that he redirect users based on what? Based on the client IP address. Okay, but this one he direct based on what? Based on request. That means that request of the different microservices that's owning by the application. But this guy, he only need the IP address.
Okay.
It's like you are hosting for example, a gaming server or a voice IP application where you are hosting a real-time multiplayer gaming server where fast and consistent performance is essential. That relies only on the UDP for low latency communication. You can use network load balancer because what? It's ideal to preserve client IP, which is necessary for logging or applying firewall rules based on the client. Okay? This one is layer 4 and this one is layer 7, the OSI model. This one is content based. That means content based pattern. This one is only IP address, IP or port based. Okay? And for now, we don't have content-based application. That means that our application is not deployed separately. They're not using microservice architecture. That is container. Our application is deployed in a single container. That means that we only need to access it through a single IP address. That's why we say IP or port-based routing type. Okay? This one is content-based routing type. This one is IP-based routing type. So I will choose network load balancer. OK? Il disait que ici, le type de routage ici, c'est en fonction du service. Puisque une application est composée de plusieurs microservices. Et chaque microservice a un lien unique unique et qui ne change pas, qui est statique. Comment dire, comment dire, ça comment? Pour pouvoir en fait, leur consulter, quoi. Alors que ici, là, le type de routage ici, c'est adresse IP ou encore port. C'est-à-dire qu'on fait souvent les 2.80 là, ou encore port based routing. Et notre côté d'application, c'est un adresse, c'est IP adresse port based routing. Et non, ce n'est pas, en fait, le contenu, en fait. Puis ce n'est pas ça par microservice. Tout est déployé dans un seul conteneur. Donc l'architecture ici est monolithique. Ce n'est pas microservice. Chaque partie déployée séparément. Et qui déploie tout simplement veut dire aussi différents chemins pour y accéder. Donc, on a choisi ici Network Load Balancer. Et Action Load Balancer fait partie de la couche 7 du modèle OSI. Et lui, c'est la couche 4 du modèle OSI, Network Load Balancer. En fait, le Transport Layer. OK? We good?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. La seule question. Great. Let me continue. Next. Okay. Good. So, yeah, I will use here, sorry, I will use here proxy load balancer or patch load balancer. Mhm. What will I use here? Based on what we explained up there. What is a proxy load balancer? So, basically, a, a proxy load balancer terminates the client connection at load balancer itself. That means, and then establish connection with a new connection to the backend server. Let me grab my IP pen. Where is this? For example, you run a public facing website and you want to balance HTTP traffic across multiple backend server. I will use here a proxy load balancer to terminate the HTTPS traffic at load balancer and distribute traffic based on content. That means that I'll only use this guy if my load balancer type is what is application. Okay? And I'll use this type if my load balancer type is network, that is pass-through, which pass-through only doesn't establish a direct connection with the backend server, but the backend server can see the client original IP address. Okay? I'll use proxy load balancer if my type is actual load balancer, and I'll use pass-through if my type is network load balancer. So I'll come here and choose select here network load balance and be pass-through load balancer. Any question? Any question? Merci les questions.
C'est même ça.
Mhm. Come again. Good. So next. Normally I would choose public, okay? Because it's not an internal application. So next. Then configure. Good. Actually, we just create the load balancer, but we didn't connect with our instance group or our static IP address. This is now where we do the connection between the front end and the back end. For now, I'll give my load balancer name LB. It should be in lowercase. Let's call it LB. The region that I used was what? US East 4. Okay? Because I use a different region, I'll not be able to see my instance group because my instance group was deployed in ES4 and not on ES5. So I need to use ES4 to be able to view my instance group. Description is optional. Instance group, yeah. The backend type is what? It's instance group. Okay. I selected my instance group here that was enhanced. That is this here, ES4 in the region of ES4C. It's our guy here. The health check. I need to create again health check. Oh, anyway, I'll just create again. Just call it again safe. We are using port 80, unhealthy, 6, 6, safe. Okay. I come here now on front end. Let me check again here. One double check. Done. Okay. It's good. Everything seems good. Now front end. Name is optional. Yeah. I'll use what here? Our static IP header was enhanced. This is it here. If I come back here, one step behind, this is it here, enhance. We created it, and it's not used by someone. It's used by who? By none. 35.23600. This is our guy here. 35.266200111. This is it that I put in the front end. That means that our users, where is it? Our users, we use enhance IP address that I reserve. I was 2.35.20 point something. They will pass through here, this IP address, to reach our backend and not the IP address that this server is having, but they use the static one that we reserve. So I come back now. Here, this is it. I select Inan. Okay. Port number. Remember, we choose what? Port 80. Alright. Done. Then I create. Any question first? Any question?
Sir, um, when actually we did networking, they told us about class A, class B, class C addresses, class D, and class E. I think it was class D, which were static addresses. I don't know if I'm remembering very well. Is it that they are special IP addresses, and to get them, you need to pay something extra? Yes, you need to pay particular amount in order to get access to the static IP addresses. Because I know class E was actually reserved for research. So we when we're doing, we just focus on class A, B, and C and the differences, and then we saw some other things. But I don't have a lot of knowledge about class class D and E addresses.
Okay, so what's the question?
Okay, I actually my question now is I want to be able to understand the various, that's the class D and E addresses actually now in relationship with the static addresses. Is it that static addresses are of class D addresses, and to actually make use of them, is it that we need to follow a special way? Is there a special way of actually configuring them or attributing them?
Uh, what do you mean by special way for configuring it? You do when we're creating the static IP address, we come back. Reserve. This is high. They didn't ask me about which cloud should I use. Okay? There is no
Okay.
option about the class we use because they know that what we use, that's the IP address will be used because it's external that we choose. It's external. If I choose internal, for example, network, which network will I use? Internal will be different. The cloud you know that if you want to create an IP address, you want it to use it for public users to be able to access your application automatically. So they will generate an it's like external IP address for you now to attach it now to a domain name. For example, like this thing, GFN Cloud Academy. Behind it is an external IP address. I just bought the domain name. That means that nobody in the world again can use this name. And then bind it now to an IP address because a name is more easier for us to keep in mind, like instead of using numbers.
Okay, sir.
Okay?
Yes.
Okay. See how many time. So they call it domain name system, DNS. We reach there. It's also a resource on GCP. Great, what was I? Okay. Any other question? I was here. I've already connected my static IP address and my instance group. They're already connected to my load balancer. Any question? I just need to click and create and now them from Magic now to start operating. So I'll click here now on create. Just wait. Great. The guy is saying that it's ready. So if I click here to have more information about it, they are saying that this is the port number to reach my application. Right? So I copied this is front end. Our back end is what? Enhance that we created our instance group. So instead of using again this IP address, I have used this one. Anyway, let me copy it from here for you just to say that hey, they're still using the same one. You see? In use by what? By LB, load balancer. This is my IP address, static. I'm in the static one, static. I just copy this and come here now and paste it here. You see, I'm able to reach my backend services through my static IP address because a load balancer is redirecting my traffic to one of those servers. Okay? Any question? This is like I'm hosting GFN Academy in a group of servers. But if GFN Academy is having a high demand in traffic, my load balancer will increase the number of servers so as to handle the upcoming traffic and to make sure that my application is still available. Okay? Any question?
Okay, sir. I just want to ask a question so that like feedback for confirmation of what I'm understanding. So actually load balancing is about distributing mass traffic across multiple servers in order to ensure the working and the optimized working of a particular service or network. Is that
But
it?
but they optimize what? Come again, please. You break my end.
In order to, it's like distributing the work among multiple servers in order to ensure that the services are working in an optimal way without
Yeah.
maybe slowing down.
Mm-hmm. So now, yeah, you use user experience. Yes,
Okay, so for that we use a load balancer. So a load balancer is actually a machine, or is it a software that we actually implement?
it's not a software. As you are saying, you didn't deploy an application and you deploy either a server. Okay? You didn't deploy an application, you deploy a server. How can I say it? You asked me if a load balancer is a server.
If it's a software, or if it's a software actually, or it's a particular that's a machine that we configure as a hardware.
I would say that it can be both because it depends on how you are implementing it. Load balancer is software because the load balancer software runs on servers and distribute traffic to backend resources. That means that it doesn't require hardware and can be implemented in virtual or cloud environment. I'm actually thinking in mind. I'm not actually answering you. Load balancer at hardware for load balancer hardware like physical device designed for to create more traffic. I would say that it depends. Depends either you are using it on the cloud or on premise. Because on premise will be hardware. That means that you will need to buy a physical load balancer, right? To distribute
Yeah.
traffic. While in the cloud, you are using the software in the cloud because everything is accessed through it's implemented virtually or through cloud environment and it actually run on servers.
Okay, sir. Now, it makes use of static, so we will need to attribute for the load balancer a static address. Is it
Yeah,
at the load balancer level?
yeah.
Pardon?
We create a static IP
Okay.
address on a different resource called VPC. VPC network. And we now connect it now inside the load balancer, that's inside the network services resources. Okay. So these are two different solutions. I create my IP address here, and I create my LB here. That was used to connect this IP address. Hello? Did that answer you?
Yes, actually, I was no longer getting. It's like the meeting actually stopped. So I was asking, so we attribute the static address to the load balancer.
Were you there when I was explaining that at
Mm,
the beginning?
when you explain about what, sir?
I was explaining at the beginning using an image at the beginning before we start implementing.
Yes, an image with servers.
Just apply the concept. I'm saying that what you learn about static IP address, uh, managed instance group, they're same. Today, what was used today is that we now use load balancer to interconnect those services because we learn them separately. It doesn't because that it's not because that I apply a load balancer that the main use of that service will change. No. Okay?
Okay. Yes,
The
sir.
same
Actually,
concept. The same
I see
concept.
my problem. I was not there the last time. I've not yet control. Okay, I'll follow through, sir, and I'll be able to pick up.
Any other question? C'est le même concept. C'est parce qu'aujourd'hui, on a mélangé, on a connecté les différents services que l'utilité qu'on a eu à parler dans les semaines passées ont changé. Non, c'est le même concept. Ça ne change pas. Tout ce qu'on a fait aujourd'hui, qu'on a appris au niveau, c'est l'autre balanceur. Et comment connecter ces services-là qu'on a eu à prendre la semaine passée entre eux. C'est ce qu'on vient de faire maintenant. Mais sinon, c'est le même concept utilisé partout. Ça ne change pas. Ça, c'est IP adresse, même concept. Money instance, le même concept, les mêmes prérequis qu'il faut pour créer un instance de serveur identique. C'est la question. Question. Le moment va commencer et terminer Cloud Storage. Il n'est pas un service qui est long. Et puis mercredi, on va revenir sur le service account qu'on a commencé avec Cloud IAM. Vous montrer comment maintenant connecter maintenant deux ressources. Comment c'est que un serveur puisse se communiquer avec Cloud Storage avec la permission. On va assumer d'abord sans permission pour voir l'erreur. Et puis, créer maintenant une permission avec service account et le réessayer. OK? So tomorrow we will work with Cloud Storage. Let me share the sheet. OK. Le lien est dans le chat.